Hey everyone. So I have some bad news, and I thought I'd do a little video on it. But last week, uh, and this is kind of the first time that I can actually talk about it without bursting into tears, but last week I put Thorin down. And I thought I would do a video just explaining what happened in case anyone goes through a similar experience. Basically, what happened was I came home from work one day, it was around 5 or 6 o'clock, and I went to Thorin's cage. And I looked at him and just to see how he was doing. And he was lying belly up. And he was kind of just squirming there with his feet kind of flailing out like he was trying to get back up on his feet, but he couldn't. Excuse me. So I picked him up and I put him on the ground to see what was going on because I could tell this, like, your hedgehog should not be lying belly up. If your hedgehog is lying belly up, you have a problem and you need to pick him up and you need to put him on the ground and you need to see if he walks. You need to see what he's doing, check his food, check his water. Has he been eating? Has he been drinking? You need to assess the situation because a hedgehog should never be lying belly up. Excuse me. So I picked him up and I put him on the ground and he fell over. He couldn't even stand up. He just fell right over. And I knew immediately this was not good. And I figured he's having a neurological episode. He can't feel his legs. He can't walk. He's just falling over. So I knew he was dying. Like, there's a condition that's very common in hedgehogs called wobbly hedgehog syndrome, and I do have a video on it on my channel for more in-depth information. But just Cold Notes version, wobbly hedgehog syndrome is a progressive neurological disease that affects hedgehogs usually within the first year of their life. Some people might debate me and argue with me on that. Go ahead, I don't care. But it's neurological, and basically it's like spinal myelopathy. A lot of dogs experience that, particularly German Shepherds. For some reason, it's very common in their breed. Spinal myelopathy being that from the toes up, they just kind of lose feeling, and eventually it reaches their vital organs and they die. And it's progressive, so it starts showing signs early on, and then after a while you would then put them down. Thorin never exhibited signs of WHS. It was just this one time I came to his cage and he couldn't walk. And it was terrifying. I had no idea what to do, but I wrapped him up in a towel and told him it was going to be okay. And I found the nearest vet and I took him to the vet clinic, and the vet told me exactly what I already knew. He was having some sort of neurological issue. He was dehydrated. And, you know, he looked like he had lost some weight, and I'm really mad at myself for not maybe being a little bit more aware. I just didn't notice that he wasn't eating, and I'm really mad at myself for that. But these things happen. Anyway, I could have spent $500 on having the vet draw blood and test exactly what was wrong, what was going on with him, but you know what? When you go to the vet, you got to be careful because you can easily blow thousands of dollars on getting your animal tested, and ultimately it depends on how much money you have and how much money you're willing to spend on your animal. But I wasn't about to spend $600 on Thorin, and it's really painful to admit that, but you have to be reasonable. So I did what anyone would do. I put him out of his misery, and I miss him a lot. But he's in a better place. So that's what happened. You know, if anyone has a similar issue, if you go into your cage and your hedgehog is lying belly up, you need to go figure that out. Hedgehog neurological diseases are very common in hedgehogs, and there's no cure. So I hope that this experience doesn't happen to anyone watching this video. I miss Thorin, but he's in a better place. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to still continue with my channel. I do have 2 other hedgehogs, my females, and I'll be back into breeding. I'll be looking at getting another male and going on with that. It's definitely something that I'm passionate about, and I'm not about to give it up, but it's definitely a bump on the road for me, and just saying goodbye to my little guy. You know, he was with me through a lot. He was my first hedgehog before I even got into breeding, and I got him when I went to university. He was my little partner. You know, my landlord told me I couldn't get an animal, so I was looking for something really quiet, hypoallergenic, that wouldn't cause any attention, and hedgehog was perfect, and he was the one that I picked. And he got me through all my depression. Every time my anxiety set in, anytime I got home from every time I got home from school, he was always there waiting to make sure that I wasn't alone. And it's amazing that animals can give you this, and it's very important that every day you do not take that for granted. I will always remember him, and I'm looking forward to my future with hedgehogs, but it will definitely be sad with him not being with me. Anyway, I'm ranting now. Farewell until my next video.